So I've had a lot of fun making these holiday gift guides. We've been talking about console games and PC games, tech and toys, but now we've got some great ideas for the movie lovers in your life. Let's talk about one of my favorite topics, superheroes. Wonder Woman is an excellent gift idea because the movie is, as promised on the box, wonderful, but because it was a smash hit, it's also proof positive that it's time to start making more female-led superhero flicks. Gal Gadot is perfectly cast as our heroic Amazonian warrior princess, and I was very impressed by the heartfelt performance of Chris Pine as Captain Steve Trevor. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 is an extraordinary sequel because all of the work setting up the backstory for each of our Guardians was handled in the first film, and this time out we get to see these characters really connect and begin to mean something to each other, all while not losing any of the series' patented wacky sense of humor. Visually, this movie is spectacular, so it's a perfect pickup for any 4K screen. Spider-Man Homecoming is also a near-perfect realization of the tone of the Spidey books. Tom Holland is an excellent choice for our new Peter Parker, and Michael Keaton's Vulture is menacing and grounded despite his high-flying criminal antics. Lots of great cameos in this flick too, and it really pops in 4K. Arguably the most beautiful superhero film of 2017, though, was James Mangold's sublime and poignant Logan. Yes, it's the swan song for a longtime Wolverine Hugh Jackman, but it's more than that. It's a contemplative, bold-faced look at the toll that all of those superheroics would take on a human, even one with an adamantium skeleton. Now, this third movie in this trilogy was so good it makes you want to rethink your entire ideas about this whole series. War for the Planet of the Apes was an absolutely outstanding film with visual effects that seamlessly created a reality where the apes are the last hope for a civilized civilization. Outstanding work by everyone involved, led by Andy Serkis and his animation team. It's no wonder Warner Brothers is eager to see what director Matt Reeves can do with a new Batman movie or three. Incidentally, both Rise of the Planet of the Apes and Dawn of the Planet of the Apes are great flicks for a rewatch, so this may be the trilogy to get for Under the Tree this year, particularly now that they've all hit 4K Blu-ray. A list of some of the other great movies of the year includes a sci-fi flick that admittedly may not be for everyone, but I loved it. Luc Besson's loopy and visually stunning Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets is a treat that looks absolutely stunning, but it may end up just being a guilty pleasure for the sci-fi nut on your list. Even though Kevin Spacey's in Baby Driver and it's admittedly difficult to watch him these days, this riveting car chase caper flick from director Edgar Wright is difficult to take your eyes off of. Likewise, the intense Get Out from director Jordan Peele is an unnerving and smart path through how much a person can tolerate. If revenge served with an impeccable style is what you're after, the John Wick flicks do it better than almost anybody else, and John Wick 2 is that rare sequel that more than lives up to its expectations. The massively successful and artfully constructed horror movie It is a blast to sit through, and the filmmaking is so strong the behind-the-scenes stories are guaranteed to keep your eyes glued to the screen. The campy but still crazy cool Kong was a nice surprise this year, and the bombastic picture is definitely worth blasting out of your home theater. It's a fun movie for a gathering of friends during the holidays. Alternatively, you could sit back and watch what 20 years did to the Edinburgh-based clan from Danny Boyle's seminal Trainspotting in the deftly handled sequel, T2 Trainspotting. Now, most of the movies on my list are incredible effects-heavy features that look great on a 4K screen and stand up to repeat viewings, but I do have some dramas that you might want to curl up on the couch with. Dunkirk is Christopher Nolan's harrowing look at Britain's famous World War II tactical retreat that is laced together with incredibly well-orchestrated non-chronological vignettes that will keep you crossing your fingers and wiping the sweat from your brow. Set in a wintry Wyoming, Wind River, the directorial debut from Taylor Sheridan, unravels with a confident calm at first, but quickly becomes a pulse-pounding descent into an unforgiving reality. It's another unforgettable tale from Sheridan, the writer who has already brought us the superb Sicario and Hell or High Water. A Ghost Story from writer-director David Lowery was a very surprising movie that creates a hypnotic stasis and then expertly twists in from the corners of the frame to build something extraordinary. It's small, but you won't forget it. The same could be said for the strange but true love story of Kumail Nanjiani and his wife Emily Gardner in The Big Sick. Their tale is heartbreaking and lovely, and because of the great work by all of the actors involved, really funny. Another quote-unquote pleasant indie surprise was Good Times, starring an impressive Robert Pattinson, but an even more impressive Benny Safdie as his brother. These two louts are nothing but trouble, but man, is it ever uncomfortable fun to watch them go to work and screw everything up. Jake Gyllenhaal and Tatiana Maslany are excellent in David Gordon Green's Stronger, a wonderfully made movie about Boston Marathon bomb survivor Jeff Bauman. Now, it wasn't just all brand new movies that we could check out and take home with us. This year, there were some killer 4K versions of some classic films as well. Take a look. Close Encounters of the Third Kind is a stunning movie for several reasons, not the least of which is a young Steven Spielberg's filmmaking confidence on full display, or Richard Dreyfuss's outstanding work portraying a man whose world is crumbling because of things beyond his comprehension, but also because this movie exists as an almost perfect time capsule of suburban life in the 1970s. The Fifth Element is the prerequisite 4K pickup before venturing into Luc Besson's more recent Valerian. The complex sci-fi movie Besson made in the late 90s is teeming with an alien cosmopolitan sensibility and is punctuated by great action scenes and comedy that works and holds up. Terminator 2 Judgment Day is almost as well made a machine as the Terminator himself. Every frame of this movie masterpiece is blue-tinted artwork suitable for hanging on a gallery wall. Precision-constructed liquid metal effects that made Jaws drop in 1991 do the same thing in 2017 because you realize that this movie was made in 1991. How did James Cameron do this, and how does he keep doing it? Family-friendly movies are always great, particularly if that family in question has a kid that doesn't mind watching the movie again and again. Here are some good ideas. Let's start with the live-action Beauty and the Beast, which was well made and quite entertaining. It doesn't live up to the classic animated movie, but Emma Watson and Dan Stevens do an admirable job as the Beauty and Beast, respectively. It's really Luke Evans and Josh Gad, however, that stand out in this one. Lego Batman delivers the same kind of frenetic visuals and rapid-fire pop culture comedy that made the Lego movie a smash. As a big Batman fan, I enjoyed myself a lot and can appreciate the efforts the filmmakers went to with Lego Batman, but it doesn't quite live up to that original Lego movie. I'd say pretty much the same thing about the surprisingly entertaining Lego Ninjago movie, which is cluttered, silly, and yet funny and slick enough to make it easy to watch again and again, which is really what you want from a kids flick, and it's also the same way I describe Captain Underpants, which has a kids-in-school art style that really delivers a big burst of charm. I was not expecting much from Cars 3, but found myself quite entertained by a more subdued tale of a mature Lightning McQueen that is facing the prospect of retirement. There's some really solid work in this one, and I think it's definitely worth adding to your Cars library, Mom and Dad. And finally, there are the home video releases that will be worth getting. They're either still in theaters or not available yet, so maybe you'll want to think about giving out some gift certificates. There's Blade Runner 2049. So far, this is my favorite movie of 2017. Intense, beautiful, intelligent, and so sleek and well made, you'll watch in awe of the Herculean collaborative effort it took to pull this sequel together. It shouldn't exist, and it really shouldn't be this wonderful. The Shape of Water. Now, this movie from Guillermo del Toro has yet to release, but when it does, take your favorite adult on a date and go see it and support it because it is absolutely incredible. Thor Ragnarok. This will be a color-rich, super crazy home video release that I can't wait to get into my collection, so I'm pretty sure you've got someone on your list that would love a gift certificate for this one in their stocking. Justice League. Now, I wasn't crazy about the movie, but I am crazy excited to see this in my home theater because you know the way this movie came together is an amazing story unto itself, and there has got to be some cool behind-the-scenes and cutting room floor content to check out. Now, of course, the big movie that I and everyone is dying to see and likely collect for their home theaters is Star Wars The Last Jedi, but we can't talk about that yet because we haven't seen it. So there you have it, some great ideas for the movie lovers on your list. I want to thank the Burnaby Village Museum for letting us shoot at their Heritage Christmas here. It's incredible. Hope you've been enjoying our holiday gift guides. Have yourselves a fantastic holiday season.